Hello everyone, welcome back to this video. In this video we'll be doing our second leg of this trip. So our first leg was from Nairobi to Mtito Andei, of which the trip was a bit challenging of course, but a bit smooth if I may say. And this second leg will be going from Mtito Andei to Voi, then off to Mombasa. And I'd like to make some small insights and about the first leg, the trip was a bit okay, and of course a few challenges here and there, perhaps bad drivers trying to push you off the road, and of which it's let me say it's the challenges that maybe you might find on the road, especially for bikers. But for this journey it's a bit technical, especially on this second leg of this trip. Reason because is that there is a very long stretch in between Mtito Andei and Voi. It's a bit close to 98 kilometers, and in this stretch we are transversing through Tsavo National Park. And the first step I did is to fuel fast at Mtito Andei, reason being you wouldn't risk getting in this park without enough fuel. You don't want to get any mechanical breakdowns, fatigue kicking in this journey, and whatnot. But so far so good. The trip was okay, and on this second leg it's a bit tricky, reason being the road is not smooth. From Nairobi to Mtito Andei the road is a bit fair enough, it's a bit smooth, good road markings and what have you. But from Mtito Andei all through to Voi the road is a bit bumpy, and especially for those who know, for a sport bike does not go well with bumpy roads, reason being the suspension are a bit stiff. You wouldn't compare a sport bike with an adventure bike because the suspensions are a bit different, and also the terrain where this bike performs well are different. But also reason being also that I think most trucks are a bit also heavy, or maybe carrying heavy load. So especially on this road, I think this road is one of the oldest roads that is in Kenya, and okay, they are trying to do a bit of road works here and there, maintenance here and there, but there are some spaces that are a bit very bumpy, and at high speeds without a good steering damper you are at a high risk of a death wobble. But apart from that, the road are okay, open roads. I'd say that this is the place where you can experience your bike, how it performs, how much faster you can go, how much experience you have on the road, because you meet different categories of road users. And also you can see that in this leg the road is a bit, I'd say, since the vehicles are a bit heavy, they tend to leave a trail. So where the tires have stepped on the road will be a bit it will be depressed, or rather the trail will leave a depression on the road. So since we are not using a 4-wheel, we are using a 2-wheel. Most riders use, and maybe I'd say that they step on the place whereby the trucks have stepped on, that's on the rail. So one of the challenges is that perhaps when someone is overtaking an oncoming traffic and they're on your lane, you have to be pushed outside the shoulder. So without proper calculations, there is high risk that when you're trying to climb that depression on the other side, there's a risk that you might crash. And also punctures, of course. When you have put the incorrect amount of tire pressure on the bike, or maybe on the vehicle, due to the bumpy roads and also the high speeds, you have a high risk of getting pressures. So it's also advisable that you lower your pressure a bit so that it can cushion those bumpy spots that you might find on the road. And also for this road, it's a bit long and tiresome. Nairobi to Mombasa, it's quite a long journey, especially on a sport bike, because the position that I'm staying in, it's a bit uncomfortable rather, I'm a bit leaned forward, so also taking breaks in this journey is quite important. Of course, we are not made as machines are made. We have fatigue issues and also concentration, because the faster you go, the higher level of concentration that you need on the road. You have to be extra careful, extra vigilant. That's why you have to be very, very cautious on the road. I've made some comments on my previous videos, and what I can say is, yes, I know that no man, or rather we can't all be perfect on the road. We have to be extra careful in order to reach our destination safe and sound. And I've also noted that second insight about this travel is that since this bike, it's a complete sport bike, it tends to consume a lot of fuel, especially when you're at high speed. So you see, the first leg I fueled at Nairobi, then the fuel indicator came on at Mtito Andei, then I had to fuel again in Mtito Andei just to avoid the risk that the bike might run out of fuel while while I was in the middle of the national park. Then the other section I fueled at Mariakani. That's where I topped up a little bit of fuel that could get me in Mombasa. So it's quite a challenging ride, of course. I've made challenges here and there, and one being is that road users, also the bad roads, of course, and also the fatigue. Yeah, as I've told you, this journey is not a joke, especially on a sport bike, and especially when you're trying to reach your destination safer and quicker. You'll have now to exceed your capabilities, or rather you'll have to exceed your skills in order to reach where you're going, the destination safe and sound. So I want to thank you all those who have tuned to this video, and if you haven't watched the previous video, kindly do subscribe, like, share and comment. So I'll be giving insight about this video as the videos go on. So enjoy, guys. it's here. This place is called Tsavo. Huh? So bit of luggage over here. Then let's catch up. So I successfully arrived at Mariakani petrol station. This is Total, and this is the third fuel stop that I'm doing. Of course, I had told you earlier that these bikes tend to consume more, and one of the challenges about riding such distances is the expense that you incur during the journey. So I fueled 3 times, and the road had been quite impressive. This was around 10 a.m. over 10 a.m. if I'm not wrong, and also, you know how Mombasa is. It's a city where it is very, very, very hot. So you can imagine coming out from Nairobi. Of course, I had worn my leather attire and full gear on, and I remember right now that my helmet was, I felt like I was being suffocated inside the helmet because I had the balaclava on, and also the heat that was in this place. So remember, for little bikes, or rather for sports bike, they are a bit tricky when it comes to riding on hot areas. So reason being is that these places are very, very hot, and extreme temperatures also affects bike. So in this case, a bike like this will tend to get more hot and hot. If you don't ride it fast, it means that the temperatures rises faster and faster. So you can imagine having your balaclava on, having your helmet on, having your full leather suit on, or rather having your full leather riding gear on. You can see that, or you can note that it's unbearable because this bike tends to heat up. Also, you can also feel the heat coming out from the fairings, and also the frames sometimes tend to get hot. So at this point, since you cannot rush in this place, or rather you cannot ride fast in these places, it's one of the challenges that you meet while entering into Mombasa. Remember, I came from Nairobi at around I started my journey at around 5 a.m. So Nairobi, it's a cool place. Now going to a place where it's very hot, you can't change your attires, of course, because the riding policy, or rather the riding rules, it's all the gear all the time. So you have to choose your poison wisely, or rather you'll have to choose your decision wisely. Will you choose to remove your gear for the sake of the place is hot, or will you rather have your gear on in case of anything happens? So these bikes going slow, the temperatures tends to rise faster and faster. The journey was okay. One of the challenges that I got was fatigue. As I told you earlier, that for sports bikes they are a bit different, and also wind noise and the exhaust noise. So for wind noise, the more you go, there is a lot of distraction of wind going through, or rather going over your helmet or going over your face, but you'll not miss to get that rushing noise of the wind in your ears. And also about the sound, or rather the noise that comes from this exhaust, it's very, very loud, extremely loud. So for me, I'm running this Devil exhaust system. I have the mufflers. They are twin exhaust system at the back, and having two exhausts at the back, and especially under seat, you can see that those exhausts are close to your back. So any noise that emits from that place hits you directly in your ears, compared to the side exhaust that many bikes have these days. So one of the reasons that this journey, I would say it was a bit challenging, was the noise that was coming from the bike. For this bike, it's a 1000cc, and it's extremely loud. The more or the higher you rev it, the more noise it has, and also the wind noise. So sometimes after you have ridden this bike for quite a while, unless you have the earplugs in, there is a bit of disorientation in your mind, or rather in your head. You'll feel some bit of stinglish in your ears, because you have come from a place where it's very noisy, then at a stop there is nothing like any exhaust sound. So there's that extra sound that I'll say that it remains in your head. So it also feels like you are going, or rather you are at motion, but at the same time you are at standstill. Another thing is the motion sickness. So yeah, the motion sickness kicks in, especially on high speeds. the more high speeds you go. And also for these bikes, you can note that it picks very well and it's not a slow bike. But also, when I talk about the motion sickness, is when you have stopped moving but you feel like you're still moving, yeah. And considering of the heat that is here, you feel like you are suffocated inside your helmet. So guys, so far so good. I'd urge anyone who would love to try this, or rather to try this type of trip, I'd say first break your skills slowly by slowly. For me also, I'd say that I didn't start riding from Nairobi to Mombasa, or rather from Mombasa to Nairobi just when I got my bike. I started slowly gaining your skills more and more in each and every day in these roads, because each and every roads have their own types of drivers, so there is a way that such roads are driven this way or that way. So for these roads, you can meet, or you can have a guarantee that you'll meet 100 of trucks or even hundreds of cars. But the best thing for you is to have the experience how to maneuver through them, how to intercept vehicles even before they make a decision. For example, these bikes will get to 100 kph at seconds, at very very little seconds. So what do you do when you see that a guy has decided to commit to overtake and he is on your lane? And for example, you have got into the rail, or rather the trail, which I told you about. When heavy trucks are loaded, they tend to leave a depression in the road. So imagining you are 200 kph, of course you cannot get out of the trail at that speed. So what do? You have to decrease your speed in consideration and making your calculation perfect because of the oncoming traffic, yeah. So there are such things that you have to consider very very keenly, because on this road, one slight mistakes, or also on this bike, any slight mistakes, you never know how it will end up. So anyone who wants to try this, break your skills slow and slow, or rather you will break your skills by trying to first conquering small rides and also knowing how to maneuver on these roads. It's one thing to get on a bike, to ride the bike, and it's another thing to get in the bike and ride on the roads, especially on busy roads such as this. So I'd urge anyone who wants to do this, kindly do, I'll repeat again, kindly do first small legs, then afterwards, of course, with experience, you'll have, and also you'll gain that confidence on how to maneuver. And also, because at the end of the day, they'll see that you have a bike and they will try to bully you around because you are small, you're not visible, you're not huge as them. So that's one of the first things that you have to do. And also trying to compose yourself where you see you are enclosed, especially on the roads where you are enclosed, that you see there's an oncoming vehicle coming and you need to make a decision to step outside the shoulder, because for this vehicle you will not argue them. You will not say that since you're on the right side you will stay on the lane. You'll have to go aside, even though it's not good, but for the sake of your safety, that's what you do. So thank you guys for tuning back to this video, and I hope I'll do more trips as this more often. I know it's been a while since I uploaded my first video, and now I'm back again with the second leg of this video. So kindly do subscribe, like, share, comment, and also let's keep this farm going. Cheers guys. Oh, so at last, Mombasa City, Moi, Pevu, Southern Bypass. So I'm going to use the Southern Bypass to kuingia Mombasa town.